A very good morning to everyone. It's been a long time after which I've come online. I think almost 2 years, and what a day to come online to share something that I learned and experienced about Sunya, which we started during the lockdown period. And now I can connect with so many of you all. Today, as we go into the second season of Sunya Talks, and very soon from next week onwards, we're going to have Dr. Lim joining us, and that will be fun because that will be one kind of learning experience that we're going to have every week. And we're going to take different topics because Sunya now has some content. It's got some material that we can share. The initial days of Sunya were all about experiencing what exactly Sunya was, and now I see Sunya taking shape very nicely. Sunyatees who have been dedicating their time and effort to Sunya have started to spread across the world. This is just a teaser as we head forward for our second season of Sunya Talks. And what best to talk than to discuss on the 7 steps of Sunya. Because Sunya over a period of time was supposed to be simplified, was supposed to be in an organized way so that we all can practice that so-called very complex practice in an easy way. So the 7-step ladder to practice Sunya, that is our topic today. Let's try to understand what Sunya is. So now if you see, why do we need to have a technique to practice meditation? Can't meditation just be sitting down there, closing your eyes and wondering how beautiful the world is, feel good, just experience, and that's how simple it should be. Meditation should be that simple, right? And why should you develop a technique to understand this? Why should you even discuss about practicing a meditation? Isn't it as simple as going to sleep? Nobody teaches us how to go to sleep. Then why do you need somebody to teach us meditation and so-called Dhyana? You see the picture that I'm showing here is about a man climbing up a ladder. Climbing up is an easy task, but if there is a technique, if there is a method, if there is some supporting system, the whole process becomes so easy. That's how Dr. Lim, our teacher, our guide, has been able to give us the consolidated practice in a most simplest form so that we can practice something that was considered to be a very special technique or something specially to be achieved by people. Ladder of what? Ladder of 2 vertical pillars. One is the samatha, the other is vipassana, and the other horizontal, you can say, footings that we call them as the belts. Now, as you see, the reason why we have developed this 7-step ladder is to make meditation so easy that even a child can do that. Even a child can practice. And no wonder Sunya is being practiced by children so much across the world. Dr. Lim, who personally had shared this with me, that at a very early age of just 9 to 10 years, Dr. Lim first set his journey, his attention on the practice of Sunya. And from there his journey began, from where he started to train his mind to pay more focus and attention on his breath, and through that in many things in his life. And I think that is a very vital element, So why the 7th step? Answer is very simple: to make things easy for us. Easy means we can do it easily. We can do it daily. We can keep on doing it for a long period of time. And also we can teach somebody else. That's why it should be easy. And as this child is climbing the ladder, we are teaching Sunya in a simplest form so that everyone can practice it. When it comes up to climbing the ladder of Sunya, why do we need to do that? As Subhuti asks Buddha in the Diamond Sutra, 2 questions. How should I control my thoughts, and how should I focus my mind? Okay, basically these are the 2 questions he asks. First basically is definitely how do I focus my mind, and then second one is how do I control my thoughts. So basically 2500 years ago the question was still there, which is relevant even today, and this answer is simple. You see this man climbing up. Once you climb up the ladder, you are able to see things clearly. So why do we practice Sunya? Only two reasons: to gain the mind, the skill set, the ability to focus and to stabilize. And the second one is to have more clarity and right view. You know, a ladder basically helps you to stabilize so it doesn't move around. And because it stabilizes, you are able to see clearly. That's exactly what we do in Sunya. Now, moving forward, we have basically 7 bells. And these bells are taken from the rainbow, the 7 colors of the rainbow. And if you look at it, we go the reverse way, from the red belt, the orange belt, the yellow belt, the green belt, the blue belt, the indigo belt. All these belts we do, and finally we achieve the white belt, that's a Zen belt. Technically we practice for 6 belts, and the last one is an achievement that we get. So we need to practice the 6th belt. Over the last few years, we have been able to formulate a model of training around these belts. Today we're going to have a kind of overview of different types of belts and why do we practice. So let's take, for example, the red belt. Red belt is, I'm sure many of you all already practicing Sunya have started their journey with red belt. Red belt is basically to calm down the mind. That is why the ladder of Samatha Vipassana, the Samatha part, is practiced more here, so as to calm down the mind. Why is it needed? Because our lives have become too busy, too hectic. Our mind keeps on getting worried with so many things. Thoughts, they just don't come, they flood our minds, and we are actually, everyone is going through a turmoil, a kind of a tsunami, and if you don't know how to calm things down, you will have to pay a big price. And so-called mental diseases, psychological disorders are on a rise only and only because people have lost the skill and the ability to calm down the mind. And here comes the practice of reverse count. The reverse counting practice is basically to calm down the agitated mind. This is also called as the samatha practice, the initial samatha practice, the primary samatha practice. We in this practice do 9 to 0. When I say we count 9 to 0 is we watch our breath going in and out. Hear my words. We watch our breath going in and out. I've seen a common mistake when people practice the reverse count or the red belt is they always they count the numbers and then they follow the breath. It's the other way around. You should observe the breath and then count. So 9 to 0, 29 to 0 and 99 to 0 are the 3 parts in which we practice the red belt. Remember, red belt is your basic foundation on which your future belts depend upon. So make sure you practice that diligently. Diagnose yourself. You will know when your numbers are getting missed. Even today, me or even Dr. Lim, we still, when life is very busy, hectic, when we have to try to concentrate on the numbers, even in the reverse order, sometimes it's so difficult to even finish the count from 99 to 0. Halfway through, we are in some other world. Then in the red belt, for theoretical purposes, we also make sure that everybody knows about the 9 no's. Okay, they are the foundation of Sunya. They keep us all together. There is no kind of discrimination. There is no kind of division. There is no kind of accusation. Nobody can point fingers at us having said that we are carrying some kind of a concept. We have a hidden agenda. The 9 no's are our guarding pillars. Make sure everybody who practices Sunya knows this very well. And of course, you can practice the red belt, but you should really also practice diligently your 5 shilas, the 5 moralities. They keep us in the human realm so that we can engage with everyone in the same realm of the human being. So if we don't follow the 5 basic human moral values, I think we would not be considered as human. And then as this practice is basically meant for human beings who have the awareness of things. If we don't even have these 5 shilas basically to practice upon in our daily life, in every moment of our life, then we have no right to even practice any other belt. The best way is to teach. Go out and teach, as we did in the early days. Teach, 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 because teaching is learning. The more you teach, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you practice. The more you practice, the higher you develop the skills. Then you also have the ability here is to see whether your mind is able to focus. And you know for sure that your mind is being tested. You're giving a test. So when you do your counts, you are sure that you don't need a third party or an examiner to let you know whether your mind is at focus or not. You know that when you look at your own breath, when you see that you're missing counts, you realize my mind is not able to focus on particular things. The next belt that we go into is the orange belt. As we develop the ability to calm down the mind, if we don't activate the mind, your mind can become more like a static mind, very slow. The ability of its activeness is lost. So you need to then churn it up again to the active mode, and that's where comes the orange belt. And this is more to do with the Vipassana practice. And here, if you all know, in the orange belt, we do the double count. When I say double count is when the breath goes in, we count 1. When the breath goes out, we count 2. When the breath goes in, we count 3. When the breath goes out, we count 4. And we keep on doing that till we come to the number 10. So 9 and 10. And after 10, we go into a loop of 10 counts. How long should you do this? You need to use your phone or something like this that can put a timer. This timer of say 20 minutes is good enough for you to make sure that you are in the loop with a particular time to monitor on. So this is very, very important, because this takes you into a deeper dhyana, a more deeper concentration. And you now have just started to cultivate in the orange belt the ability to see things clearly, because now you're breaking the breath into two parts: the inspiration, which is an odd number, and the expiration, which is the even number. You need to keep your mental awareness that you don't miss the odd and even. You also need to make sure that you don't cross 10 and go counting 11, 12. You should also be tested in this practice for patient endurance, because this practice of orange belt, many a times when you are in the loop, you just hope that the bell rings, the timer is on. You start getting worried, because the 20 minutes can seem to be a lifetime for some initial practitioners, and over a period of time they seem to be just a few minutes. So this is again a skill that you acquire. So very, very important. After the orange belt, we then go into our next belt, that is the yellow belt. Now you see here, in the red belt we did the reverse count. In the orange belt we did the forward count. In the reverse count we did a long count of 99 to 0. In the orange belt we did a forward count, the double count of 1 to 10, but in a loop. Now in yellow belt there is no more counting. We have let go of the basic tool that was used to calm down the mind and to see things clearly. And now if you look at it, in this we develop the skill of observing, but this observation is more to do with samatha. So you keep your focus and attention here, and you observe the breath that goes in and out. You don't travel along with the breath, your mind does not go there, it just remains focused here. So here when you observe, you keep on observing to the nature of your breath. Okay, develop the focus. You need to be like a police officer, investigating every breath that goes in, its nature, how fast it is, how slow it is, how does it come, what does it do, everything. And I can give you many, many points that have been mentioned in the Maha Annapana Smriti Sutra about the qualities of your breath. And you need to be able to identify those qualities. So stay and keep your focus on the breath. Then observe the nature of the breath. Again, in this belt, you're tested for an more into your patience and your endurance. And this time, you don't even have numbers to hold on to. You don't even have a thing to do. You just purely observe this. This is very, very important practice of samatha, which is when your mind is completely going to a standstill. You'll realize that in this practice, that suddenly a point comes that it is still. And how do you know that? Is by watching your breath, because your breath suddenly stops. You think it is stopped, but it moves. It becomes very, very subtle, and it becomes so subtle that it's very difficult to observe. But yet you need to observe in its subtleness also. We in Sunya have a technique to still the mind, and that is very, very important. So moving forward, we also launched the green belt. Now this was an advanced Vipassana practice. Very, very important. Now in this, if you see, we are flip-flopping. So we are doing this, and while we are doing this, we are climbing up the ladder. Okay. Now in the advanced Vipassana practice, the green belt, what do we do? Your focus that was here, the mind that was focused here and observing the breath here, starts letting go of this observation point, and now, like a police in his van, is going to take a round inside you, inside your body, and travel through, okay, just to check if everything is okay. So you basically scan. You can park here, you can put your attention at your forehead, you can watch your hair, your skull. You can go along just like a investigator, a police that is patrolling around the body. You can actually scan your whole body. If there is pain, numbness, stiffness, itching anywhere in your body, take your attention there. Make sure you're able to drive there your attention and observe the phenomena that happens, because every phenomena follows a particular path. It arises, then it sustains for some period of time, and then it starts diminishing before it completely finishes off. As you see, then we go deeper into Dhyana. So now we have delved more deeper. Now with this, again you are being tested for your patience and endurance. Remember, by this time you're already doing another 20 minutes. So you're almost crossed an hour, and that's a test of your patience and endurance. It is said that people who are able to practice green belt, they have already acquired the skill to focus their mind and to control their thoughts, because 1 hour of stillness is a great achievement, especially people like us who are homebound, who work every day from morning to evening. This kind of stillness gives us good health, gives us mental peace, and we can work our way to prosperity. So very, very important. And hence, if you look, there are many more levels that we are going to move forward. We are already on the verge of coming up with the blue belt. The blue belt is going to be a specialized, personalized practice that we will be teaching for selected green belt practitioners, which in this belt you already have started to move into MSV. Like right now, what you are practicing, we say, is BSV, Basic Samatha Vipassana. That is, you're practicing on yourself. But by the time you reach the blue belt, you need to carry your practice with the society. So if you look at this ladder on my left hand side, you'll see that we have the ladder of Samatha Vipassana, which we climb up. And that 7-step ladder to practice Sunya meditation is very, very important. So I'm sure everybody is practicing, and they have been practicing Sunya for last few years. So thank you so much for everyone to take out time and join this session. I'm sure I was able to deliver some justice to your time, and see you all again next week. When India started to practice Sunya, जब इंडिया ने प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू कर दिया शून्य का, but the ancient Chinese describe Sunya